So we are recording and we are streaming live to YouTube.
Are you kidding me? Do I look okay?
All right,
Just
call
voice
meeting to order. Can we have a roll call, Kelly?
Ms. Janice Warner,
Here.
Ms. Dana Gamblin, Mr. Walt Matthews, Mr. Gary Gundelsberger,
Here.
Ms. Sharon Johnson,
Here.
Ms. Allison Will.
Sworn in, if anyone wants to testify, I'll believe it.
So if you want to be sworn in to testify, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth?
Raise your right hand, please.
Raise your right
That's it.
hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, say I do.
I do.
Thank you. Yeah, Chair needs approval of the previous minutes from February 25th, 2020. Any comments on it? Chair, entertain a motion for approval.
So second.
Motion on the floor. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion unanimously carried. We'll move to old business. Kelly?
All right, old business, we have case number 20-03. Joanne Hampton is appealing the demolition of 1932 Putnam Street, Sandusky, Ohio, 44870, parcel number 5800946.000.
Is there anyone here on behalf of the property 1932 Putnam Street?
I believe not. If you remember, this was tabled before. We've tried several times to contact somebody, and I think she has determined it's too much for her to take on, so I don't expect her to appear.
So what's the feeling of the board? How should we handle this?
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion that the appeal be denied due to the fact that the appellant is not present.
I'll second that.
Got a motion on the floor, duly second. Any comments on the motion? If not, we'll vote on the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion unanimously carried. Kelly?
What,
No
Kelly?
business?
Do you want me to roll call?
Yes.
Okay, so Ms. Sharon Johnson,
Pardon?
She's in a roll call.
Oh, you're going to do a roll call? Okay. Yes.
Mr. Gary Gundelsberger,
Yes.
Mr. Frank Valley.
Yes.
Janice?
She's the alternate.
Yeah, but she's filling in for somebody that's not here.
Okay, Ms. Janice Warner.
Yes. What'd you say I am, the alternate?
Yeah, I think that they just redid
Oh.
for this year.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Kelly, we'll go to new business.
New business, we have 20-04. MidFirst Bank is appealing the demolition of 1730 Putnam Street, Sandusky, Ohio, 44870, parcel number 5801212.000.
Amanda?
Everybody had their packet, and you had a chance to look.
Yes, in front of you, sir.
We got it on the screen here.
Okay,
Okay, it's not letting me go.
I didn't see it come on.
This arrow?
No, forward.
Oh, because it's not lit up. Okay, the current property owner is MidFirst Bank, and taxes are current, including assessments. The information of ownership from the Erie County Auditor's website is submitted as Exhibit A.
I just want to place on the record that Ms. Dana Gamblin has arrived at 4:03.
Hi, Dana. No, sit there.
You don't have to give that to them, you can keep them. You already saw that in your packet, right? The property was obtained through foreclosure from Randy Cantu, Erie County Common Pleas Court Case Number 2018 CV 0571. That's being, and the property was purchased at sheriff's sale then on June 18, 2019 for $16,732.71. And this would be the judgment entry and confirmation of sale that I just gave Kelly as Exhibit B. The structure is currently vacant and the water's been off since May 18, 2019. And here's your exhibits. The appeal, the notice and order of demolition is being appealed by MidFirst Bank, 999 Northwest Grand Boulevard, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, 73118. The appeal form states that the appeal is being filed because the property is structurally sound, structural report, and roof repairs will be made, exterior issues. The appeal form is submitted as Exhibit C. And the relevant points are listed as follows. The property is listed as 84.1% damaged. Roof, window, door repairs will take care of 31.5% of damage. Structural report should remove 4.2% of damage. And after repaired roof, doors, and windows are intact, it'll be 48.4% damaged. And here are your exhibits. If you want me to stop at any, let me know.
Gary, do you have that paperwork that's been passed?
Property
They're
violations.
not passing that.
The residence was previously owned by Randy Cantu, whose last known tax mailing address was 1730 Putnam Street, Sandusky, Ohio, 44870. The water to the dwelling was shut off on May 18, 2019. Code Compliance Officer Brad Link performed an exterior inspection of the property on May 24, 2019 due to a report of no water. While inspecting the property, Brad made contact with the owner, Randy Cantu, who was in the process of removing items from the dwelling. Mr. Cantu advised that he was moving out and walking away from the property. Brad condemned the property for not having utilities pursuant to Section 1341-18C7 of the Environmental Health Housing Code of the City of Sandusky. And then he condemned the property, and it was posted with a condemnation placard. The property violations at this time, the nuisance code section 53102A1, there was an accumulation of garbage, refuse, hazardous waste, infectious waste, and solid waste. And Brad then also cited housing code section 134113A1, the floor condition, 1341A1 roof condition, 1341, I'm going on to the picture. 1341-18C7, existing in violation of city ordinances. 1341-18D2, the vacation order, dwelling premises is in such a condition as to make it dangerous to the health, moral safety, or general welfare of its occupants, and discontinuance of utilities. And these are pictures of that structure at that time, May 24th. Brad, do you have anything you want to say while I'm going through this?
If anyone has any questions, I can answer a question.
Demolish that one.
There's the condemnation placard.
She didn't show.
The due process, on July 29, 2019, Brad mailed a notice of an order of violation with a reinspection date of August 18, 2019 by certified mail and certificate of mailing addressed to Randy Cantu at his last known tax mailing address. The notice and order of violation is submitted as Exhibit D. Got E on there too, but you can keep it. The certified mail was returned and marked unable to forward. The United States Postal Service mail tracking report states moved, left no address. A copy of the returned mail in the USPS mail tracking report is submitted as Exhibit E, which I already gave Kelly. And here are your exhibits.
Get the agenda.
Can't read that. On August 14, 2019, after receiving the returned mail, Brad mailed a notice and order of violation with a reinspection date of September 4th, 2019 by certified mail and certificate of mailing addressed to Randy Cantu at the tax mailing address of MidFirst Bank, 999 Northwest Grand Boulevard, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, 73118. The notice and order of violation is submitted as Exhibit F. And then on August 14, 2019, MidFirst Bank contacted Brad Link, and Brad sent the notice and order of violation via email. MidFirst Bank advised they would take care of the other violations, but requested written permission to transfer the condemnation violation for no utilities to HUD, as the property will remain vacant until HUD sells the property to a third party. Brad advised them to send the violation and utility portion to HUD. Copy of the email chain is submitted as Exhibit G. Oh, wait a minute, I gotta go back. The certified mail was delivered on August 19, 2019, and was signed by Gil West. A copy of the notice and order of violation, certified mail receipt, and USPS mail tracking report submitted as Exhibit H. And here's your exhibits. And this is the board up and first reinspection. On August 16, 2019, a complaint was received that the property was unsecure, and Brad requested that the Sandusky Fire Department board and secure the dwelling. Copy of the board up enforcement is submitted as Exhibit I, which must be connected to that.
Yes.
Okay. Brad performed a scheduled reinspection of the exterior of the property on September 4th, 2019, with the City of Sandusky's fire marshal. Neither the owner nor a representative showed for the inspection, but a new door had been installed on the dwelling with a lockbox. No other work was apparent. It was determined by the fire marshal that the dwelling was so severely deteriorated and/or damaged that the yellow condemnation placard was replaced with a red condemnation placard, and the red condemnation placard is utilized as a notice to the firefighters that the building has been deemed by the fire marshal and/or fire chief to be inherently dangerous to enter it in case of a fire. And here's your exhibits, and here's the pictures. And this was that inspection, September 9th, 2019. And then we have due process again. On September 5th, Brad mailed a notice and order of violation with the reinspection date of October 3rd, 2019 by certified mail and certificate of mailing addressed to Randy Cantu to the tax mailing address of the bank, again at 999 Northwest Grand Boulevard, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, 73118. That was the address of MidFirst Bank. A copy of the notice and order of violation is submitted as Exhibit J. The certified mail was delivered on September 9th, 2019, and was signed by Gil West. A copy of the certified mail receipt and USPS mail tracking report is attached here to incorporate it in herein as Exhibit K. And here's your exhibits. In the second reinspection, Brad performed a scheduled reinspection of the exterior of the property on October 3rd, 2019. Neither the owner nor a representative showed for the inspection, and it appeared that no work had been completed. Brad mailed another notice and order of violation with the reinspection date of November 7th, 2019, by certified mail and certificate of mailing to Randy Cantu, care of MidFirst Bank, 999 Northwest Grand Boulevard, Suite 100, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, 73118. The certified mail was delivered on October, what date do I have up there? October 7th, 2019, and was signed by Gil West. A copy of the notice and order of violation, certified mail receipt, and USPS mail tracking report is submitted as Exhibit L. Here's your exhibits. This is the third and fourth re-inspections. Brad performed a scheduled re-inspection of the exterior of the property on November 7th, 2019. Neither the owner nor a representative appeared for the inspection, and it appeared that no more work had been completed. Brad inspected the exterior of the property again on November 12th, 2019, and it appeared no more work had been completed. This is November 7th, 2019. And this is November 12th, 2019. And then a search warrant was executed on, it was obtained by Brad Link through Sandusky Municipal Court, and it was executed by Officer James DeSalle of the Sandusky Police Department on November 19, 2019. Copy of the search warrant is submitted as Exhibit M. Probable cause for the search was based upon exterior inspections performed from May 24th, 2019 through November 12th, 2019, and the fact that the owner has not attempted to contact the Division of Code Compliance and has refused or failed to repair the dwelling, so it will no longer be in violation of the Environmental Health Housing Code, Section 1341 of the City of Sandusky's codified ordinances, because the water to the dwelling was shut off on May 18, 2019, and has not been restored. Substantial damage to the plumbing is probable due to the below freezing temperatures experienced in November 2019. Excuse me. The purpose of the search warrant was to grant Brad and the City of Sandusky's building official access to the interior of the dwelling and the exterior of the property to perform an inspection to determine whether the dwelling is more than 50% damaged, decayed, or deteriorated from its original value or structure, pursuant to Section 1341-18D3 of the codified ordinances of the City of Sandusky. And here's your search warrant exhibits. And here are the pictures 11/19/2019 of that search warrant being executed. You can see the inside of the house was a disaster. There was a tarp there on the roof. There was no utilities. And this is the building official report. The building official for the City of Sandusky determined that the dwelling was at least 84.10% damaged, decayed, or deteriorated from its original construction. The building official report dated November 21st, 2019 is submitted as Exhibit N. A title report was requested from Fidelity National Title Company, LLC. The title report found that the owner of the property was MidFirst Bank and no other lien holders. The title report, order number 6001090855, is submitted as Exhibit O. And then on November 25th, 2019, Brad Link emailed a copy of the notice and order of violation and notice of demolition to Talicia, I think that's her name, Summers at MidFirst Bank. Copy of the email is submitted as Exhibit P. Here's your exhibits. The notice and order of demolition. A notice and order of demolition dated January 27th, 2020, and the notice and order of violation was mailed to Randy Cantu, care of MidFirst Bank, 999 Northwest Grand Boulevard, Suite 100, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma 73118 by certified mail and certificate of mailing. The notice and order of demolition, certified mail receipt signed by Gil West on January 31st, 2020, and the USPS mail tracking report is submitted as Exhibit O, or Q, I'm sorry, Q. The email correspondence. On February 10th, 2020, Brad Link emailed the form to request an appeal to Angie Lopez at MidFirst Bank. On February 12th, 2020, Angie Lopez emailed Brad to advise they will fill out the appeal form and ask their attorney to appear before the board. She advised they had an interested buyer. Brad Link replied to her on February 13, 2020, advising that the date for the demolition would depend on the decision of the Housing Appeals Board. On February 12, 2020, Angie Lopez submitted the appeal request via email to Brad Link. And on February 21st, 2020, Brad recommended that plans, timelines, and the cost for rehabilitation be brought to the Housing Appeals Board, and also advised if no one was present to represent the bank, the appeal would be denied, and a copy of the email chain is attached as Exhibit R. More email correspondence. On March 9, 2020, Kelly Cromer asked Brad to forward the notice of hearing letter to MidFirst Bank for appeal and advised that she also mailed the letter by certified mail and certificate of mailing. On March 10, 2020, Brad Link emailed Angie Lopez the notice of hearing letter from Kelly. Copy of the email chain is submitted as Exhibit S. A copy of the notice of hearing letter is submitted as Exhibit T. The meeting then was canceled due to the pandemic. Due to the coronavirus, the Housing Appeals Board was canceled and rescheduled because the governor issued a stay-at-home order and social distancing guidelines that banned group gatherings. The meeting was rescheduled for June 23rd, 2020, when the governor's order was lifted. And here's the notification that was mailed to the bank. However, then we had to reschedule the meeting because we did not know that we had to give a 24-hour notice on our website because we have to have public meetings, pursuant to state law. So therefore, we had to let the public know that it would be live streamed today because they are not permitted to be here. And there are your exhibits. And here are the pictures that were taken. This looks like June 17th of 2020. I do know that we've had to mow this property at least once this year. If you notice, there was an auction sign in the front yard. Online auction, June 15th through 17th. Pictures were taken on 6/17/2020. It shows a sign posted in the front yard of the property advertising an online auction listing or auction taking place from June 15th through 2017. And I provided that link. You can't really see it up there in dark blue to that website of the auction. The auction started at 9 a.m., 6/15/2020, and it ended, it looks like at 12:10 p.m. on 6/17/2020. The nominal opening bid was $1,000, and it said that this is a HUD second chance home auction. Second chance means it didn't sell to a new homeowner at the foreclosure auction, and during the second chance auction period, seller advises the home is discounted below seller's appraised value, and then a copy of the listing from that website is submitted as Exhibit B. And here is that listing. These were the pictures taken last Tuesday before the meeting that didn't take place. There was a question about, because the tarp has been removed from the roof, but as you can see there, it doesn't look like it had been replaced because there's moss growing on it. And then you can see the waves in the roof construction. Then and the auction sign was still there. And we do not know if there was a valid bid or a winning bid on it. That website doesn't show us that. And this is, Brad did go look today. We do have pictures if you need to see them, if you didn't get a chance to walk or ride past there, but there was no further work performed. They look the same as June 23rd. Do you have those pictures here, Brad? We'll go ahead and submit these pictures dated 6/30/2020 just for the record, if you want to pass those around. The building, this is our recommendation from code compliance. The building official has determined the structure is 84.10% damaged or deteriorated from its original value. Section 1341-18D3 of the codified ordinances of the city of Sandusky states that when a structure is 50% damaged, decayed, or deteriorated from its original value, it shall be demolished. And it is recommended that the Housing Appeals Board deny the appeal and order the demolition of the structure for the protection of the health, safety, and welfare of the neighboring property owners and the community at large.
I have a question, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's going like through all these different dates and various persons that accepted the emails, accepted letters. Has the bank ever once responded to any of this when they got sent letters and this bill list signed for stuff or that Tamala Summer? So has the bank ever responded prior to?
Has the bank ever
saw 'em
responded
up
to you
here.
to any
These
of the
are
letters
today's pictures.
or?
The only response were the emails, and then the emails changed hands from Lisa Simmers to Angie Lopez. And then also the code compliance department for MidFirst Bank was copied on all of those as they were starting to get involved. But that communication didn't start until November. And then I think it was November and then January when I sent them the percentage of deterioration. And then in February again, where there was a little correspondence about this meeting that was going to happen. Other than that, probably there hasn't been any other communication.
Yes, Sharon?
I have some questions, if you don't mind. I have about maybe 6 of them.
For me or in general, would you like him to present his case before you?
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I was gonna ask if there's someone here from the bank or.
There is a representative. I'll let him come to the podium.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Kyle Timken on behalf of MidFirst Bank. This property came to us as a result of a sheriff sale. Mr. Cantu had failed to keep up with his mortgage promises, and so we foreclosed on him, and he failed to take care of his property too, and we're kind of saddled with it. But this is a FHA loan, and the client is going to reconvey. By statute, they're required to reconvey to HUD. HUD requires certain repairs to be made. They're undertaking those repairs. So that's what they're doing now. They're statutorily required to convey it to HUD. If they can't, there's substantial financial penalties and everything else involved.
I can hardly make you out because of your mask.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll
And-
try to speak up.
And
I
you're
don't
so
wanna get-
tall, you're so far away from the microphone there.
How's that, better or no?
Not really.
I believe you're better off taking your mask
Yeah.
off.
Okay. It's on record.
You want to start over because I didn't catch it?
Yeah, I was coming from Columbus and we had a spike down there and I didn't want to bring anything I had down there up here, so that's why I was.
Be so kind to state your name for the record.
Yeah, it's Kyle Timken. I represent MidFirst Bank.
Okay.
All right. As I said, came across this property, had a loan with Mr. Cantu, defaulted on the loan, foreclosing the property. We were the only bidder at sheriff's sale, and so we became entitled to the property back in August of last year. Upon entering the home, we found it in those pictures that you saw, that those are the before pictures. Biohazards, disrepair, all sorts of things in the yard, everywhere else, debris scattered everywhere. So they went ahead and took care of all that. At this point, that's all been taken care of. It's been cleaned out internally because there's a substantial amount of stuff that Mr. Cantu had left behind. And part of what they're doing is they're going to reconvey the property to HUD. And in that process, they have to get bids for every piece of work they do on the property to multiple vendors, then HUD has to approve it. It's very time consuming for them to move these HUD properties quickly to repair, but they have to be repaired before they get back to HUD. The deadline to return it back to HUD is the end of July. So they're moving quickly now to finish things up so that they can actually transfer it over to HUD, and then HUD will continue marketing it. I think you saw the signs, and getting it out to a third party to inhabit the property rather than being vacant.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So, I'm just being facetious, so I have no filter. What made you think HUD want that house?
HUD wants all the houses.
But I'm saying, the way that that house is, you would have to put a substantial amount of money into that home, and I'm just asking, what would make you think that HUD would even want to anticipate trying to get it, or trying to resell it, or whatnot, I mean? Because you guys seem like y'all didn't want it fast enough to me, because the dates that I'm looking at here, there were different dates that someone should have responded way before now, and that's before COVID even shut things down. So I just have a problem with passing it off to HUD for someone to take it, and it just seems like you guys didn't want it in the first place.
Well, it's an idea of one. I can't speak for HUD. I don't represent HUD. I don't know what their policies are. Government body, and you can free to look up what their rules and regulations are on HUD-insured properties, but they're typically required to take the properties back. And they'll require the servicers to have it in a certain level of repairs required before they can send it back. So that's what's undertaking right now. As far as the emails we just obtained the property in August, and the mailings are going to Mr. Cantu at, granted, the tax property address of my client, but it's still from Randy Cantu. My client was named title. In any event, so they show up or they start conversations in November. Winter comes. They've been taking care of it since the first of the year, getting all these things taken care of after they've gotten all those bids I discussed, to get the bids from all these different parties before they can move. They just can't unilaterally do it, or they'll void their contract with HUD and subject to penalties, fines, regulatory problems emanating from that. But they've done substantial work on the property. It may not be perfect, but it's one of those things to get below the 50% threshold. We feel it's right around 48.5% or so, just on the other side of it. The rest of it's cosmetic issues with the property that a new owner will be able to take care of. Inside may not look great. It's watertight. They sealed the roof where it was leaking. And when they walked into the property, they found it had massive rainwater disrepair inside. They tarred the roof and fixed that roof so it's watertight, first of all. They got a report from a structural engineer saying the property was structurally sound. I'd like to have that as Exhibit A.
Exhibit A is being given to the board.
I'm sorry, I didn't bring enough copies for everybody. I'm acting as my own assistant these days in my basement. So that's a report they had commissioned by a structural engineer to make sure the property was safe and habitable, so it wouldn't, safe in any event, so it wouldn't fall down. The structure is structurally sound. And here's some photos of the property free of all that debris that you had seen in those other photos there.
Exhibit B is being submitted to the board.
And this was done when?
Those photos, I don't know the exact date. It looks like it was just over, the pictures were, this is when the pictures were taken. All I can tell you is when the pictures were taken on the 20th of June. Because when they were actually taken, I did not know the date they were taken. I just know that the timing on the pictures themselves of what I received are from June. It may have been the day before, a couple days before, by the time it got put in the system and then printed back out.
Exhibit C is given to the board.
To go through those.
So do you have a company that's doing this work, or?
Yeah, I don't know the name of the company. It's a local company, but it's a local rehabilitation company.
So, when did you say these pictures were taken?
Depends on the pictures, but you can see the dates on probably that last one there maybe, or one before.
6/19/2020?
Right, exactly. They had repaired the roof damage prior to that, once they determined that where the leak was coming from.
And the pictures you showed us were as of today?
The pictures I passed around were today.
They do have it on a bi-weekly mowing schedule as well, for that same company, every 2 weeks, the mow the property as well.
I mean, it's a big difference in what you're showing us and then what we just saw. And that's just within a week. I think your date has 6/19, the pictures we saw has 6/23.
Well, the interior photos of all that debris being gone, that they didn't have photos. Those recent, those are back from last year, last May, or whenever we got the entry order. I'm not sure what day that was.
Go ahead.
I have a question for this gentleman here. What position do you hold with the bank?
I'm the attorney for the bank.
Oh, you're the attorney for the bank?
That's right. I handle the foreclosure action, actually, and that's where they wanted to me handle this.
Okay, and let me see if I got this right, because there's a lot of moving parts to this.
I agree.
Okay, so this Cantu went into foreclosure. How much did he owe on that house before this happened, before he went into foreclosure?
The unpaid principal balance was $11,000 and some. I don't think.
$11,000?
Right. It was a $25,000 loan back in 2011.
Okay, and so this went up to auction, and the bank bought this for, what, $16,000?
Yes, ma'am. That'd be a total debt bid. That's the total they were owed on the account.
Why would the bank do that?
Again, it relates to HUD and the insurance guarantee as part of their agreement with HUD.
Do you do this a lot? Do you have agreements with HUD a lot?
Well, on FHA loans, every time on an FHA loan, it's a federal guarantee that backs the loan originally. In order to keep that guarantee, you have to show your maximized loss at the end of the case. If they would show less losses, they would have less insurance payout at the end of the case. That's why the property goes back to HUD, because HUD reimburses them for their losses.
Okay, so you have title to this house,
Correct.
and you want it to be turned over to HUD, so they have title of it?
Yes, the transfer title is part of the agreement with HUD. It's if they,
Okay, so what's happening to the $16,000 you invested? What happens there? What do you get out of this?
I can't speak for my client's business practices, what they get out of it portfolio-wide. They're a nationally chartered bank, and they're in the business of handling properties and servicing loans, and they make income off servicing loans in that fashion because they're servicing these federal loans for HUD. But as far as what they get, it's a business proposition. They manage the loan during the life of the loan, and then disaster strikes and the loan stops getting paid. They get no income from it, and now they're trying to make the best of a bad situation. but they're calling in their guarantee through HUD, and part of that is conveying the property back to HUD.
Okay, so HUD fixes this up, so, and you're released from it, it's now HUD's problem to fix this up?
Correct. And theoretically, it's always HUD's problem, because they originally guaranteed the loan. So throughout, it's always underlying is taking care of it. The servicers will take care of the issues underlying, like the default and the foreclosure and that sort of thing. And then at the end of it, then they convey title back to HUD to just take the property back.
I never heard of this program. And the taxpayers do this?
It's an FHA loan. They've been doing it since 40 years now, probably. It's part of the federal government. FHA program is where you don't have 20% to put down, but they still want people to own homes. So the federal government, HUD, set up a program that, sometimes down to 3% of a down payment on a home is sufficient to obtain a home. I could obtain my home through a HUD or a FHA loan. That's the vast majority of loans being made on homes or FHA loans.
I wish HUD would hear, they should be represented here so we could ask them some questions.
Well, they're a public entity, I mean, government entity. They're not involved in this by name yet. Once it's conveyed to them, then they'll be entitled and, can discuss it then.
I do a little work with HUD, but I never heard of that one.
Yeah.
So, and I've been dealing with HUD for about 18 years.
Oh, FHA loan? Yeah, that's almost
No,
every.
I know about the
Yeah,
FHA
right.
loan, but
Yeah.
as far as when the property is lost,
right.
he is foreclosed. I mean, and I've never heard of HUD coming in to buy the property back unless he had a HUD loan to begin with, and it doesn't sound like that.
He does have a HUD loan, FHA loan.
That's totally different.
Then what?
How you're explaining the way that this process works is totally
On
different.
the back end?
Back, front, whatever you want to call it.
It's down
I just-
it's down payment
I
assistance.
haven't, yeah, it's the down payment assistance
Yes.
at the end of the day, but again, that is on you guys at this point. This is the bank's problem. This is not a HUD problem. It's the bank's problem that they should have stepped up way before now.
Yeah, they're operating under the confines that are laid out by HUD, so that's all I can say to that, is they don't have free reign to do what they want. They have to clear it with HUD to be able to move left, move right, that sort of thing. There's, it's federal legislation out there that causes them to sort of yield to the federal government, and they do, or else, risk substantial monetary fines and those sorts of things. So it's a pain.
Ms. Sharon, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've heard of the down payment assistance because, I was involved with that too. My husband was in the military, but this other thing here, and you buy this for $16,000, then you dump it off to HUD for the taxpayers to fix up and stick it with them. I don't understand that program at all. I mean, I don't understand where the bank gets in their money back from this because you put in $16,000 in this house. Is HUD going to pay you some money? I don't get this.
Well, we have a guarantee with HUD that when you do these FHA, because lenders wouldn't give you a 3% down payment. HUD guarantees that other 20%. They're not paying the entire freight. They'll pay a portion of the 20% you didn't put down on a house.
So when HUD fixes it up and sells it, you get something from that? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I don't know what the payout is on that. I'm not representing them on, what they get from HUD and how they get it, but I suspect they get some sort of remuneration from HUD when they transfer the property back, because that way it's whatever they had done previously can be reimbursed. To whatever amount that is, what extent it is, or whether it even happens, I don't know.
Well, I think we're missing some equations here on this.
Well, it happens every single FHA loan, and vast majority of the loans I take through foreclosure are FHA loans. No question about it. It happens every single time that it ends up going back to HUD after you have to convey title back to HUD after the foreclosure is complete.
Can I speak?
Well,
Yeah,
if
you
this
want-
becomes
go ahead.
demolished,
Amanda wants,
what happens?
You want to make a motion?
At this
Amanda
point,
wants to talk.
if the property
Amanda wants to
becomes
say something
demolished,
to
what
it.
happens?
I don't know.
Amanda wants to say
They
something.
probably, at that point, there's no property to convey to HUD, so they failed to convey it, and
Wait till that, he's done.
Mr. Chairman, I have a couple questions.
yes, sir.
This problem came to the city's scope of interest May 18th, 2019, when they learned that the water was turned off. Then an inspection was done, an exterior inspection. And since that time, I see that 5 re-inspections have been done. And other than, from what I see, 9/4 of 2019, this is during the first re-inspection, a new door had been installed. What else has happened to that structure to change, to lower the building official's determination that the structure is 84.10% damaged?
Well, the vast majority of that was the roof leaking, and they've fixed that. I've got Exhibit H here to show you what they did to retar that roof and reseal it and make it watertight. That was the main 30% of that, to getting us over the 50. And the structural soundness of the
Okay,
building.
let me stop you right there. Have you communicated the fact that the roof has been treated with the city of Sandusky
I'm not aware of
for
what
them
conversations
to
you've had.
confirm that it's watertight?
I don't know that. I don't know if the emails that you spoke with, they hadn't, okay, so apparently they haven't.
And when we say they, who is the
Oh,
they?
MidFirst, I'm sorry, they, my client, I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay, so assuming that the roof has contributed to lowering the number, what else has happened to this structure?
Well, you see the original pictures of the property and all the debris and biohazards were
I'm
there.
talking about the windows.
They're boarded and secured. They're going to repair those windows, putting new glass in those windows. That's before they can convey it to HUD at the end. But they're boarded now, safe and sealed, boarding, but they're going to replace all the glass in the windows that need repaired in order to make those fully functional again.
Do you know what the process was to treat this roof? What was done to the roof?
You see the pictures, it looks like they put new, I don't even know what that's called, substrate underneath it, or new wood underneath, new decking, I guess. And then they tarred over it, and you can sort of see what they did with the pictures.
Somewhat,
Because it was rotted underneath.
in the line of like putting a new roof on?
What's that?
Would that be in line of putting a new roof on?
Well, it repaired the part that was damaged, the rest is still watertight.
Do you know if MidFirst Bank obtained a building permit for that?
I don't know.
Well,
No, I just, yeah, sorry.
okay.
Well, I guess the question that he's kind of asking, and I'm just gonna be direct.
All right.
It takes more than just the roof to make a 84.1% damage and deterioration. So overall, and the person that you had, I think, on the paper, we're familiar with him and his work. But it's more than just the roof that caused us 84% damage. So structurally, what else has been done? Or what else are you guys, your company or who you work for, what else are they planning on doing structurally to make this sound? Because normally anything over 50% should be demolished.
Right, well, that's what we're looking at here, is we're taking it down below the 50% threshold, not the full 80. So we're just looking at taking away 30% of the damage and making it 48 or something less than what the 50 is that means it should be demolished. And that's part of the roof, was a large amount of that. And then also whether that's 31.5%, they put the new door on, putting new windows in, or repairing the windows. The structural report should also remove that it's being unsound, because obviously the evidence is that it's sound to bear the weight of the roof and the walls and the load by the structural engineer's report. And so I believe that takes us down to, and that's even if you look at the original appeal decision or appeal, it takes us down to 48.4. So that's what they're looking at, not going all the way down to 0, but just getting it to a point where it's not demolished and get somebody living there, get things squared away with however they want to do that. But they're taking the repairs to get us down to that level. Does that make sense? That it's, it's not a full 80, it's a 30 proposition, and with the water tightness, the secure windows, new secure door, biweekly lawn care, they're going to repair there's a shed out back too. He's got a broken door. They're repairing the door on the shed. I don't think there's anything in the shed. They removed all the detritus that was out there as well. They also put new downspouts on the property. There's a question about the driveway. There's never been a driveway there. It's just unimproved parking area that they pull in and out of. And I think I have the pictures for that as well.
Excuse me 1 second. Before you go any further.
Yep.
I'm concerned about the lack of communication from MidFirst Bank with the city as far as this roof goes. Now, it's their contention that the roof is in good shape. The city hasn't had an opportunity to check it.
I don't know if they have or haven't.
Have you checked the roof?
I checked with the building department, they have not received any request for inspection.
Now, they haven't, obviously, they haven't obtained a building permit, which is required. And the fact that they didn't communicate that they had come and done something to the roof, we're missing, you're right, we're missing pieces of this puzzle.
Yep.
The MidFirst says that the roof is in good shape, but we have no idea right here and now whether that's true or not.
Are there pictures of the roof from today? City took pictures. I thought their date was 6:30, yeah.
Those are pictures, I believe those are pictures of when they did the work.
Oh, I thought they said it took pictures today, yeah.
The took today.
Oh, the pictures, yeah, I saw those. I saw that, but that's completed work, but
No, I'm talking about the city's pictures.
once once
This is
a building permit would be taken out for this roof job, and the work is done, and they know what to do, okay? The city would follow up with a follow-up reinspection to verify that the work that was supposed to be done was done to meet the city code.
Correct.
And without doing that, you could come in and do anything you wanted and say, well, we fixed the roof and it's in good shape, trust us.
Right, well, it may be a failing of the local vendor who's handling the repairs.
Pictures of the roof
That's something
today.
I'll definitely, obviously have to look into and see what they're doing. Obviously, they're responsible for that as an independent
Pictures of the roof
contractor.
as of today,
And who is the
Here's
local
some more
vendor?
pictures. There's an exhibit I of the roof as
from the
well.
city.
Exhibit I is being submitted to the board.
Pictures of the roof as of today.
And
So
do you
they-
know the local vendor's name that's doing the actual work for you or for your company?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Because I think I might have brought the local vendor today if he's, doing your work for you so that he could have said whatever or told us what he's doing or what's going on, what he thinks.
So, sir, are you done with your
Yeah, go
question?
ahead, hon.
So since the bank has had this for what, about a year? You've had it for about a year?
Since August, I think, was the confirmation.
August of last year?
Yeah.
Okay. And all you've done is a little work on the roof?
No, all the materials that were inside the house were taken out and removed from the property, put the door on, sealed up the windows with wood on some of the windows, and then, and that's where they are. As I say, they're working through that process with HUD. They couldn't do anything over the winter, and so they're getting their approvals from HUD in order to approve their bids they've got on the property. They can't just hire a contractor. They've got to get bids for every piece of the work in order to get somebody to repair the property. But
Okay.
they've made it structurally safe, they've made it barrier safe, keeping it in good repair, there's no biohazards, there's nothing else in the property that's causing any public.
So you cleaned it up and made sure it was sealed up, is that correct?
Certainly that, yes, and that's important, yeah.
The bare minimum there, okay. Okay, so do you specialize, you say you're attorney for the bank.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you specialize in this? Is this what you handle all the time? Because it doesn't seem like you're up to speed on this.
On what? On this? No, I don't handle this all the time for them.
Okay, so you can tell me then, when you hand this off to HUD, what is your percentage of the take of the profit? What percentage do you take from HUD? I mean, there's got to be something going on here, and you're not telling us this. You put $16,000 into this property, you bought it for $16,000, and you've shored up some of it with a new door and all of this, so you have a little over $16,000 in this already, and you're going to hand it over to HUD. You want to pass it on to HUD to fix it up. What percentage are you getting? How are you getting your $16,000 back? You're not telling us that.
Yeah, okay, I don't think it's relevant to the case. It's whether the structure is, whether it's structurally sound, not the business practices of my client or HUD in that sense, right? It's whether the property needs to be demolished or it's something that's, less than 50% in disrepair, and that's what they're trying to get on the other side of the 50% by this work. Whether they get, how they get remunerated or anything like that by the federal government, that's, that's their, I don't know how that works as far as what they're actually going to be getting paid for their losses.
I don't know, for somebody who specializes in this, you can't tell us that. I'm just apprehensive about this whole thing.
It's not really relevant to the case.
Can I make, is everybody done with their questions, or are you ready for a motion, or what?
What you say?
Is everybody done with their questions? I'd like to make a motion if it,
I'd like to ask her. Can I ask a question?
You have a question?
I have a
first?
question. I don't know if it's been answered. We've been talking so long. But when is the last time the city inspected the house? Today?
I did the exterior today.
Today? And was the roof completed?
It appeared that way.
It appears that way. So everything else he said, do the windows look tight?
Windows are boarded up. Some are boarded up, the other ones are closed. I can't speak to whether or not they're weather tight. I haven't been on the inside.
Okay.
Any other questions, Jen?
No, that's all I have.
I have
Any
one.
other comments
He said he had.
from anybody on the board? Okay,
He said he had.
Seconds.
board is, excuse me, sir.
I've got three more, just picture exhibits to put in the record of
All right,
the interior
go
of the
ahead.
home there,
Exhibit G is being given
as
to the
opposed to the
board.
original ones. There's the,
Exhibit F is being given to the board.
all right, there's exhibit E.
Exhibit E is being given to the board.
I have one more question before I make a motion here.
Okay, go ahead.
Were you, did the inspector ever inspect the inside of this house?
Yeah, we were inside with the building official.
And what did you,
After they fixed it? After they fixed it?
It was in November, I believe. It's in the packet.
Brad,
Yes.
but after the search warrant, you've never gained interior access to do
It
an
was
inspection?
never afforded the ability to get in after the surgery.
so do you know if all the debris cleaned up and that there's?
I do know the debris is cleaned up. I was there the day the person was cleaning it out. I would imagine
Were
it's
you-
finished up, but I have not been inside.
Were you able to check for any water leaks or anything like that? Nothing? Okay. Okay. I would like to make a motion. I would like to make a motion that we deny the appeal for 1730 Putnam Street.
Repeat that again, with your mouth down. What do you want to do?
I'm sorry?
What's your motion?
I would like to make a motion to deny the appeal for 1730 Putnam Street.
All right, it's a motion on the floor. No second. Motion dies for lack of a second.
Can I make another comment?
You may.
I don't know. Is it possible that the city can go out and inspect this building home to see where we're at with the repairs that he said he made, and maybe bring it back next month to see if they are below the 84.10 or 50%? I guess it needs to be above 50 or below 50% before we demolish it.
It's going to be above 50% deteriorated, yes,
Okay.
above.
So would it be okay to ask if the city goes out and inspect it within the next 30 days, and we're going to meet again next month? So that we can see that the work this gentleman said that was done on the facility building has been completed?
You have to make that in the form of a motion if you want.
That's all I need to do? So I would like to make a motion that the city goes out and inspect this home, so they need access within the next 30 days before our next meeting, and then bring us a new report as to what the percentage of deterioration is to the home.
You have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second.
A second?
I'll second.
There's a motion on the floor, duly second. Any comments on the motion?
Yes,
Kelly,
I have
you
a
wanna
comment.
repeat the
I have a
motion,
comment.
please? Excuse
I have
me?
a comment.
Okay.
Sir, communication is extremely important right now.
Right.
Okay? So let's make sure everybody understands what's at stake here.
Oh, I understand, I
Last
understand.
shot. This is going on way too far. I want this permit issue resolved one way or another with that roof, whatever happened to it.
Right.
I want someone to confirm whether or not it qualified, if it was a repair or an alteration, or if it was something that fell under a permit. I want that resolved. In addition to access to not only the inspector, but also the building official to make his determination whether or not we're below 50%.
And I'm not making a motion, but I'm gonna make a
Wait a
suggestion
minute.
to you.
There's a motion on the floor.
She has a comment.
I'm just making a
Oh,
comment.
comment on the motion,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm not making a motion, I'm making a suggestion. When you come next time or next month, bring your person that's doing the work.
Right.
So that we'll know exactly what is being done, and then they can tell us in uncertain terms as well. I just think it would be best. So, choice is yours, I'm just making a suggestion.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Kelly, you read the motion, please. You have the motion.
Reread the motion. So the motion is to come back in 30 days and grant access to the city to do another inspection and revisit in
The
30
motion,
days.
all in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
No.
Motion carries.
Call roll, Kelly.
Thank you.
Ms. Sharon Johnson,
No.
Mr. Gary Gundelsberger.
Yes.
Mr. Frank Valley,
Yes or no?
Yes.
Ms. Janice Warner,
Yes.
Ms. Dana Gamblin.
Yes.
Okay, let's have a motion. Any other comments before we adjourn? Any other comments? Have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion adjourned. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
You're adjourned. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you all.